Well, there's been some drama that has now been witnessed as amid the deportation dangle. We are getting you the pictures that are now coming in from the Indian Consulate in Seattle, where chaos occurred after an activist, Kshama Sawant, was allegedly denied visa. Now, according to the activist, she was put on the reject list. The Indian Consulate, meanwhile, has issued a statement citing law and order situation at the consulate and saying that unauthorized entry by certain individuals has taken place. Let's get in a word and understand the story, where Sagrika is with us right now and Rishabh as well. Sagrika, do you believe you have the statement as far as the Indian Consulate, what they have to say on this entire scenario that has now built up in Seattle?
Yes, let me just take you through what the Indian Consulate, India and Seattle, what they've said officially. They have gone on to give details of what exactly happened. On social media, India and Seattle says today the consulate was forced to deal with a law and order situation arising from the unauthorized entry. Just notice the choice of words used. It was a law and order situation arising from an unauthorized entry by certain individuals into the consulate premises after office hours. Despite repeated requests, these individuals refused to leave the consulate premises and engaged in aggressive and threatening behavior with the consulate staff. We were compelled to call in relevant local authorities to deal with the situation. Further action is being initiated against the trespassers. The person in question is a woman named Kshama Sawant. Now, there are many who say that you cannot barge into the consulate and then, go ahead with the demand for a visa. So, right now, the consulate has made one thing very clear, that this was a law and order situation. This behavior was nothing less than trespassing. We also have Rishabh joining us. If you can get more details of what exactly happened. Amita, it's over to you.
All right, Sagrika, thank you for that. Rishabh, that question is for you now, especially when it comes to this trespassing incident that has now been reported at the Indian Consulate. However, the consulate is not giving much details exactly what this law and order situation was all about.
Well, Amita, what we are given to understand that this lady was at the Indian Consulate in Seattle with her husband, and as per her, she wanted a visa to India to see her ailing mother. But due to technical reasons, her visa was denied while her husband's visa was approved. And now she is accusing that, she is being rejected by the government of India and the visa is not being given to her to see her ailing mother. But what we are given to understand, the sources suggest here, Amita, that A, her documents were not complete. B, she denied giving, the biometrics and other issues to the consulate as well. And, after multiple requests from the, officials at the consulate, she did not leave the premises. Rather, she created a ruckus there that created a law and order situation. This is what the sources...
let's get an understanding also from Pathikrit, who is joining us on the broadcast. Pathikrit, if visas are denied to certain individuals, does it mean that you can barge in as far as in the consulate there is concerned and create a scene, create a drama over visa denial? What is your understanding of this issue?
Well, she's trying to create a ruckus for getting media footage, and this is absolutely unacceptable. And I think the strongest possible legal action should be taken by the Indian Consulate in the United States, wherever this incident has happened. This is the prerogative of the country as to whether it wants to give visa to a particular individual or not. And if those individuals have been responsible, in triggering conflict, in triggering violence, in spreading of disinformation, in creating false impression, in peddling of fake news against a particular country, then if that country does not give visa, she cannot, or that individual then cannot claim that she has been, betrayed, shortchanged, or has been wrongly denied. This lady in question has been responsible for all kinds of activities against India while sitting in the United States, perhaps in cohort with organizations, possibly organizations like USAID, for activities which are dangerous for India's sovereignty, integrity, and maintenance of peace. So I think government of India has absolute right in deciding not to give visa. And I just wonder why this lady wants to come to India right now. It's amazing coincidence, because all along she has been very happy to stay in United States and abuse India, denigrate India, demonize India and project India perhaps as nothing, no better than a hellhole. Then why does she want to come to India now? So I think government of India has absolute right not to give visa and to take legal action if necessary.
All right. Patikrit, thank you very much for your point of view. Sagrika, you heard that as far as the lady in question here is concerned and her background and her previous statements that may have been made, there would be several valid reasons, however, when it comes to the denial of visa.
Yes, let's also take you through her version. On social media, Kshama Sawant, the woman in question here, she has gone on to say that a consular office, a short while ago, when this controversy was unfolding, when, the drama was unfolding, she put out a post on social media and she said, a consular officer said, I'm being denied visa because I'm on the Modi government's reject list. It's clear why. My Socialist City Council office passed a resolution condemning Modi's anti-Muslim, anti-poor CA, NRC citizenship law. We also won a historic ban on caste discrimination. So there are many who would today argue that this individual in question has always taken a stand which is perceived to be one that is controversial. Many have gone on to say that her stand is against the interest of India, and now today when this drama is unfolding, when she's claiming, now once again she's ascribing motive, but if you saw what the consulate went ahead and they said that the kind of behavior where you barge in, where you go ahead and say or kind of give an impression that having a visa is a right, that was treated as trespassing, and that is why the consulate had to take a very strong stand with regards to Kshama Sawant, who's now making these kind of allegations against the government.
So can we say, Rishabh, an anti-India lobbyist is now crying foul because she has now been denied visa entry as far as when it comes to coming to India? Why in the first place, as we heard Patikrit also say that she wants to visit India?
Well, if we talk about what is happening right now, Amita, visa approval or denial is a discretion of a sovereign government, and Indian government definitely have the right and reserves the right to approve, issue or deny any kind of visa. Here, emergency visa is being talked about.
All right, Rishabh, interrupting you again. Apologies. Mr. Suresh Goel is connected with us. Mr. Goel, what do you make as far as certain individuals are concerned with questionable backgrounds as far as the statements that they have been making, and they want to visit the same country, the visa that has now been denied, and they create a drama, they create a scene, and they do a sit-in or a dharna at the consulate? How would you, look into this situation?
Totally unwarranted. Totally unwarranted. Giving the visa is a privilege. It's on the basis of the checks that are to be done by the consulate or the mission wherever they are, and it's a matter of a right for the country to either say yes or no to denying the visa, provided there are sufficient ground to deny a visa. So in this particular case, if the consulate does feel that there were grounds to deny a visa for whatever reason, either their past behavior or security risk, there could be so many things, so many reasons to deny a visa. They're fully within the authority. You see what happens having worked in the Indian missions abroad. There is a matter of also sometimes, a perceived right. The same people, if they're denied a visa by an American mission, either in Delhi or anywhere at all, they would simply keep quiet and simply try and see why what happened, but they will not make a fuss about it. But when it is an Indian mission or the consulate, very often I've seen that people visiting there, particularly of our own compatriots, they think it's a matter of right for them.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Goel, for your point of view. Of course, this is how the situation, the drama that is now unfolded at the Indian Consulate in Seattle. And Rishabh, what is now coming in as a statement from the Indian Consulate saying that there was an incident of trespassing and this is a law and order situation where appropriate action is now being taken?
Well, definitely, Amita. Indian Consulate in Seattle says that this was trespassing, and the law and order situation arise to a point where it was necessary to call in the local law enforcement agencies, and this is something that we have seen ruckus at Indian Consulate in San Francisco by the K-goons as well, and hence the security of a diplomatic institution anywhere becomes paramount.
Rishabh, apologies again. We are trying as many reactions as possible. Smita Prakash is also connected with us. Smita, what do you make of an individual who abuses the country, raises questions on the policies, and then seems to create a scene when visa is rejected? Of course, this is a discretion there where any country would allow a certain individual to come in the country or not.
Yeah, exactly. Visa is a privilege. It's not her right, or it's not anyone's right. The Indian Consulate has apparently, that's what she says, put her on a rejection list. We're still not aware. So many of us have applied for visas to many countries and got rejected, and we don't necessarily get a response as to why we've been rejected. It's up to the consulate or the embassy to tell us that, whether they want to give us a reason why it's been rejected. And if she hasn't got it and her husband seems to have got it, she should be grateful that at least her husband got it. And about the reject list, I'm not still sure whether that's true or not, or she's making herself into some kind of a victim. She should have known better, I think, for her what she did.
Yeah, because the Indian Consulate there has issued a statement. They have been calling it as a law and order situation, saying that there has been an incident of trespassing and appropriate action has been taken. Of course, they're not giving much away as far as who this individual is and what she was trying to do over there. But imagine doing a dharna, and that too at the Indian Consulate in Seattle.
I think the reaction from the consulate is kind of a copybook. They would not name it because I don't think they've registered a case against her as yet, or there maybe it's not been registered in the police station. If that is the case, it's a complex legal issue out there, policing issue. But what she did out there doing a dharna, what did she expect? Can you imagine her doing something like this in any other embassy or consulate? She would have chup-chap taken whatever she gets or not gets and come back later. She could have appealed. She could have come back later. Instead, doing this kind of a protest, her activism, I think, got back what she needed to. She's gone on a social media spree. Some workers strike back or something like that as the organization. So she's been tweeting a lot and trying to drum up sympathy. So there are a whole bunch of leftists who are supporting her on social media. Fat lot of good that's going to do for her.
Oh yeah, she's been on a tirade there on social media as well. Thank you very much, Smita Prakash, for joining in. Yes, Rishabh, you may complete your point right now because, of course, as far as Kshama Sawant there is concerned, she's been continuously raising questions. But that apart, when it comes to visa denial, that is at the discretion of the Indian Consulate.
Well, Amita, definitely. If we talk about visa is a discretion, a sovereign discretion of any country, and India reserves all rights to approve, issue, or deny visas. Here, in this case, what the sources suggest that her documents were not complete, and even after repeated requests that you need to complete your document before we can issue an emergency visa, she denied giving further details about
all right,
herself.
Rishabh, apologies once again. Getting another live reaction. Sushant Sareen is connected with us. Sushant, have you seen anywhere else as far as when it comes to a consulate where somebody is sitting on a dharna because visa has been denied and then continuously abuse the same country?
No, in fact, I see no reason why the government of India or the consulate or the Ministry of External Affairs is saying stuff like, well, the documentation is not complete. They should simply say that she is not an Indian citizen and she's not going to be given a visa. And we don't owe her or anybody else any explanation why a visa is not being given. It's as simple as that. And if she comes inside the consulate to create a disturbance, then she should be physically thrown out. End of the matter. I don't know what is this mealy-mouthed, embarrassed, diffident kind of an approach to, an urban naxal from the United States who has left no opportunity and no stone unturned to not only sully the name of the Hindu community out there, but to sully India's name. So I see no reason why, there is this mealy-mouthed approach from the government of India. Just simply say we are not going to give her a visa. End of the matter.
That's the point. I mean, that's what we've never seen or heard any such of a, kind of a situation. If visa is denied, then you sit on a dharna right there and then abuse the same country. Because right now she's been, going on a tirade on social media saying that just because she's been put on the reject list because she raised her voice against the government of India.
No, so my point is a very simple one. Number one, she can keep raising her voice, but then she cannot, because she's not an Indian citizen, she cannot claim an entitlement to a visa to India, right? She's free to abuse India as much as she wants to, and that she's doing. And I think it tells very poorly upon her parents that they've raised such a child who was born in India, But that's another matter, completely another matter.
Well, she wanted to visit her ailing mother, and that is the need of a visa. Apparently, that had required the need, when it comes to her applying for a visa in the first place, but that has now been rejected. Of course, the reasons that we don't know, but this is on part of the discretion of the Indian Consulate.
Exactly. All visas are discretionary. For example, we cannot demand that the Americans should give us a visa simply because I want to go and see the Statue of Liberty. And then I do a dharna outside the American embassy or the US consulate. How stupid is that? This is exactly something similar which is happening out there. A visa is not a right that a citizen of a foreign country can claim on another country. A visa is a privilege which is accorded to a citizen of a foreign country. And that privilege is not being accorded to this woman. She has no claim on India. She can abuse India as much as she wants to. She can abuse Modi or whoever else catches her fancy at whatever point of time. She can abuse as much as she wants to. And if she's so worried about her mother, she should hire an air ambulance. I'm sure there are some US aid funds lying around somewhere. She can take those funds and hire an air ambulance, get a visa for her mother and transport her to America and meet her as much as she wants to.
Okay.
How is the government of India responsible for, her meeting her mother and her emotional needs?
Well, that's common sense, if we can say. Thank you very much, Sushant, for joining us here on the broadcast. Of course, Sagrika, coming back to you on that, as far as who is Kshama Sawant and why she seems to be raising an issue over visa denial, that seems to be a question because she's been saying that she's been put on the reject list just because she raised her voice against the Indian government.
Absolutely. And just to give you a sense of what she stands for or why, there are multiple analysts who've joined you today, Amita, and who've said that visa is not a right. It's a privilege. And just to give you a sense of what Kshama Sawant, what she says, what she speaks about, and the kind of stand she takes against India, I'm going to read out one of her old tweets not too long ago, 5 days ago. She said, India's PM Modi and the BJP government are denying me a visa to see my ill mother. I'm not alone. Modi has retaliated. So she's saying that this is a retaliation against her. Modi has retaliated against other activists and journalists, denying or revoking entry into India. They've also put out a petition. They're saying, we put out a petition. Let's urge Modi to stop this retaliation. My Socialist Seattle City Council office took an unwavering stand, the office that she belongs to, against India's right-wing, anti-worker, anti-Muslim Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his right-wing nationalist BJP party. So the kind of language, the tone and tenor, you can just get a sense of what Kshama Sawant has been advocating over the last many, many days. And now there are many who say, and they're repeating this, that once again, visa is not a right. It's a privilege.
Absolutely. And still continuously abusing the same country that she wishes to visit. Thank you very much, Sagrika and Rishabh, for joining in. Of course, this is a drama that has played out at the Indian Consulate in Seattle. We've been getting multiple reactions. Back after a short break.